Good evening and welcome to the Joust. My name is Naggy. I'm here as always with my favourite person in the entire world, Liam McNeil, the man who shares the other half of my brain, or maybe I share the other half of his. All that we know that we only have one brain between us. Liam, how you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. I'm really glad that we're continuing our mutual agreement to share the brain. You know, Uncle Phil obviously looked after the surgery, got all that sorted, so it's wonderful to be back. Very good to be back, as it always is, and great to be talking about a win.
Yeah. And
a good win.
And it's strange, Liam, we seem to be winning at the meaty end, the pointy end, whatever the end is, it's sharp, and it's there's no more after that. So
it's an end.
It's an end. Now, we've done this for many years, Liam. And every time when we've been in this discussion, it's, well, you know, we were a little bit closer this year. You know, 2017, we improved on the previous. In 2018, we thought maybe this could have been finals
and then
year.
2019,
much the same as 18.
Plateaued,
really plateaued, yeah.
Really
but this year, we're talking about the final round of the season, and there's another week after this. What happens after the final round?
There's no way to tell, Nagy. Now, as far as I know, and again, I haven't seen what finals footy's like. I don't know what happens. So, you know, for all our speculating, we don't know what football's like, because as Knights fans, we turn the TV off.
Yes.
In September.
Unplug it.
And then we don't turn it back on. We unplug it, like you've just said. So, we don't turn it back on until when's round one usually?
March.
There we go. Yeah, we ruin the TV. Yeah. We throw golf balls at it and hit it with clubs.
Yeah.
And then we buy a new one.
Buy a new TV.
So,
well, TVs aren't as expensive as they used to be.
They certainly aren't.
They used to be, you know, the real asset of the home.
Yeah.
People would break into homes and steal televisions. Not worth your time.
They were the centerpiece of the room. You know, you had those big old beautiful ones with the wooden containers, the TV in the wooden boxes. You've got to bring them back. The cabinets.
Yeah.
Cabinet
I've even remember the entertainment units.
Entertainment unit, yeah.
They were called at some stage. But, you know, whatever the case might be, we've moved on from there. The TV's now part of the wall.
And load-bearing televisions now.
They are. And all part of that, we get to watch those beautiful parts of the wall, watching our fantastic side enter the finals for the very first time, 2020. But it's nice to say 2020 was the year that we made the finals. 2019, 2018. No one can remember who won the comp in 2018.
I've got no idea.
We don't know.
Or 2019, I don't recall.
It was either the Storm or the Roosters.
It was one of the two.
It's one of the two. Boring. It's going to be glossed over in a part of history. But now there's going to be a new team coming in. A new team getting in and
new
bashing
kids
around.
on the block.
Speaking of new, time for the news. Same word, but with an S.
Yes, a plural, if you will. Now, before we get into the news, ladies and gentlemen of the Joust, we will be having a very, very big announcement at the end of the show. So,
stick around.
Be sure to stick around for the end of the show. You might learn something.
Well, scroll ahead.
You might, scroll ahead if you want.
They have the power. Yeah,
you're not really going to miss anything of value, would you say, Nagy?
Yeah, skip ahead. There's probably
skip ahead. All right.
50 minutes long.
We'll see you in 50 minutes there, Jousters.
I'll fill you in. We'll talk about the game. I'll make a Marlon Brando reference, possibly a Tim Burton one, and then and possibly a dick joke. That's probably about it.
I'll probably reference communism.
Talk
about the Cold War a bit.
Something about
Cold War geopolitical dynamics. Who knows? But speaking of geopolitical conflict during the Cold War, Tim Glasby, a man who's been through the wars, being hit constantly on his noggin, so many bonked scones, that he's forced to retire. He's been out. How long's he been out of the game?
Round 6, I think, was his last one.
And he's still suffering ongoing symptoms of
concussion.
Yes, concussion. There is a great example of the ongoing symptoms of concussion, or, as they call it, CTE, which, again, a terrible name for people with concussions. It's chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yes.
But look...
Which is the condition which may occur after a history of concussion. That's what we're trying to avoid, really.
What we are trying to avoid in the game, but obviously in a contact sport, it's very hard to avoid. But, Tim, one of the great guys of the game, apparently fantastic clubman, always gave his all on the field, was a very, very solid Queensland Origin representative. I think the club be sad to see him go, and I'd love to see him stick around in some capacity to mentor some of our younger middles. So obviously continue working with the Safidis, more on the Safidis to come. Your Josh Kings, Pasami Solos, Jiro Momoisia.
Yes.
You kind of want to keep him around to
that last player
mentor.
He hasn't made his debut yet, but I saw him on the extended bench.
He hasn't debuted, but he is in the 21. Yeah. So we could be seeing Jero Momoisia, but do you bring a rookie in at this pointy end of the season? I don't think so.
Probably not. Probably just say, look, you're in the mix, mate. Stick around.
It's good to have him in the mix, though. It's good to have him in the mix. But yeah, Tim Glasby will be missed at the Knights.
Yeah.
And we hope he stays around Newcastle because it's a wonderful place. A wonderful place. Next item in the news now. This one really got me giggling, Nagy. Really got me giggling. Ricky Stewart.
Yes.
Well known as being, a measured and very, quiet and humble human being.
I think he meditates. Yeah.
Calm, meditates regularly, but in something completely out of character for Ricky, he has been given a breach notice and a suspended $10,000 fine for, and I quote, throwing a water bottle with force out of the coach's box. Now, Nagy, you've thrown a lot of things out of a lot of coaches' boxes.
Yeah.
What did the most damage? Was it a bottle of Mount Franklin?
Well, I'd like to say that this was, a spur of the moment thing, something that just took him by surprise.
That's
and
what I would think.
And he almost blacked out, but really, there was preparation involved. If we look at the photo on screen, they've even removed part of the coach's box so it wouldn't damage the glass.
You're saying there's something deeper at play here.
Oh, yeah. No, well, it's just being well prepared. They go,
do you reckon it goes all the way to the top?
Well, I think they just said, look, Ricky Stewart's coming in. He's a real cranky bastard. Maybe leave a bit of a gap so we can...
Let's open one of the window panes.
Yeah, one because just for the shouting, so that people trapped in there aren't, their eardrums don't burst. And then the other thing, when he does throw something out the window's open, no damage to the glass.
Not like Des and the changing room doors.
No, exactly.
Not like that.
No, we don't want any more damage done by Ricky Stewart. So
no, property damage is not a good look for the NRL. Knife crime, gun crime, bikie tattoo artist, fine.
Fine.
But smashing windows?
Yeah. Petty crime? No.
I forgot also something hilarious that a coach did that I wanted to include in the news, but completely forgot.
Well, Rick, remember last year, Craig Bellamy had his wallet and phone stolen, I believe.
He did?
That might have been through the open window. Someone was at the seat pretending to watch the game, just snuck their arm back there, peeled the phone off the table.
Well, speaking of Bellamy in the coaching box, I thought it was quite funny over the weekend. Good bit of bants. Yeah. Cameron Smith scored the try to get him ahead of Craig Bellamy's try-scoring career tally.
Yeah.
And Bellamy was seen flipping him the rude finger from the coach's box and then joked that it took Cam Smith 427 games to score more tries than Bellyache, who did about 150.
150. Yeah. I do appreciate there's something here that I really like about...
There we go. We have...
throwing the bird. One is that it's well above his head.
Yes.
And I do like... That's where birds fly. They're up there. There's also, he's chosen thumb in bird because what I really don't like is the thumb out bird.
And also now I noticed you've gone for the knuckles up.
Yeah.
So you've got the knuckles flush.
Oh, he's got knuckles down.
Which I go the knuckles down, the knuckles flush. Yeah. But then you've got this one, It's a bit more attitude to it.
Bit more attitude, yeah. I suppose it's how much dexterity
we get flip the bird a lot. We know a lot about different ways of flipping the bird.
And I like Bellamy's about because it was just enough, it was like he was shaking a fist, but he's thrown in the finger, and it was wonderful to see.
You love to see it, you just love to see it.
Can you punish a man for flipping off Cameron Smith? I don't think so.
I don't think so. If anything, he's done the world a favour. Now, next item in the news, Penrith have become the first side other than the Roosters and Storm to win the minor premiership since 2012. Isn't that an incredible stat?
Yeah, it makes sense though. Yeah, definitely when you think, you go, oh yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. It's been, it just seems to be the same two teams, passing it amongst each other over and over again. Roosters, even through the early 2000s, seem to win the minor premiership every year. It just was part of their thing, Of course, you'd start the season, Roosters would win the minor premiership, and you'd be in the finals. They didn't always win, but it was they were always just there. Managed to do all the hard work through the season.
But isn't it
probably
incredible?
Because all the money they laundered through their club?
There's a lot of laundering of money going on in and amongst Melbourne Storm and the Sydney Roosters.
White collar crime.
Again, not a crime we associate with rugby league.
No,
it's about time the rugby league world dips its toe into the white collar crimes because you don't get punished.
That's right. You get off with the plea deals.
Club fed, they tell you. They call it a jail, but it's really a 5-star Ridges over at Colburn there. So they'll get sent to club fed and they'll just be fine. They'll be okay.
And then you come back and get signed by the West Tigers.
Yes, you certainly do. But yeah, I think that really speaks to how good they are as organisations. And when people say, "Oh, we need an old boy as the CEO with the club DNA," no, you don't. You need a businessman to run a business. Doesn't give a shit if they don't know the DNA of the club.
Yeah.
They know how to run a business and they get results like that when they run that as a business.
Liam, you know that they had a football of the Knights as Danny Badiris, of course.
Yeah, no, I know. And he did a wonderful job. He was great.
Hasn't he aged well, though?
He's aged beautifully.
I mean,
he's still so good.
Can we just have a look at Danny Badiris in a recent photo? He's got like the Maxwell Sheffield grey.
He does have the Sheffield
It's just
grey.
sort of the curl at the front, so it's like... But, he still looks like,
All right, one of us has got to do a...
handsome man.
All right,
And he's a
we brought
spokesperson.
up Maxwell Sheffield.
Yeah.
We cannot continue this episode without one of us doing a Fran Drescher, Mr. Sheffield impersonation. Do you want to take Nagy or should I?
I can't get my voice that high anymore.
Mr. Chef. No, fuck
No, we
it.
can
That's
forget
cancelled. That's cancelled. We're cancelling that part of the news for Mr. Sheffield. Next item in the news. Next item in the news. Now, speaking of...
There he is.
There
Gorgeous.
he is.
Oh,
He looks fantastic. Yeah, he's similar to Ryan Girdley. He hasn't really changed that much facially.
Yeah.
But he's got a bit of salt in
of
amongst
salt
the pepper
in
now.
amongst the pep.
Which I've noticed you're starting to get a bit of salt in there. And I
stress.
love it. I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Speaking of things that are beautiful,
Yeah.
this next item in the news is quite the opposite. Now, the stupidity of people in rugby league never ceases to amaze. But
Yeah.
this year, this stupidity seems to have taken a whole new element. Now, this... I cannot believe they're doing 2 rounds ago on the goddamn season.
One round.
Admittedly, the
One
game,
round ago.
one round.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the games don't mean anything, so who cares? But
They're fiddling with the
we
rules.
have some new rules that have been introduced to the National Rugby League on a trial basis this weekend in the Brisbane versus North Queensland game and the Manly versus the Warriors game. Ooh.
And it begins with the offside.
State came up.
Offside penalties will now result in a set restart. So,
How do you feel about it?
well, look, I don't mind that. I haven't minded the 6 again rule in its form when it's not overused, when it's used consistently throughout the game. I like it. When there seems to be like 6 in the first 20 minutes and then you don't see it again, I'm like, well, why was that there? But I don't mind it as a thing, because I don't necessarily think the stop and the penalty and the what do we do here? Can we kick for goal? No, actually, we can't. That discussion.
The thing for me has been the whole thing about the 6 again is it's a mystery. No one ever knows what's going to happen. No one ever knows what's going to get called. It's the same with offside.
Yeah.
Every single play you could call an offside.
Yeah.
And yet it's just called randomly. It's called William Nilliam. It's called whenever the ref feels like blowing the pee out of the fucking thing.
The ref knows all the players' first names as well.
And now we've discussed this on the show.
No,
I don't like it.
Don't
I
like
don't
it
like
at all.
Say, for example, the Newcastle Knights. Hey, red number 3.
Yeah.
Get out of it.
Yeah.
Get
No.
out of it, Anari. No.
He knows
Get out of it, red number 3.
Every single place, do they go through the list at the start? Some
They
of the
must
pl-
do. Yeah,
some of the
they must
players'
do.
names are very
They've got a
hard.
mnemonic device, I would imagine.
Sometimes they name like the first name longer than they were. Because Mitch Barnett.
Mitch Barnett.
Be Mitchell, like they're calling him in from the backyard. Like, Mitchell, it's time for dinner and get on side.
Mate, wait till you get the middle name.
Yeah.
Once the referee calls you by your middle name, Mitchell John Barnett.
It's gonna be John. It's
Yeah,
definitely
that's when
John.
you know you're getting sent off, when the referee drops the middle name in there. Next stupid rule they're bringing in: any ball that will be kicked into touch will now be treated as a handover, as opposed to a scrum to reset play. That's a bit less stupid.
Yeah, they're slowly working the scrum out because it's just a bit of a huddle in the end, is it turning more into touch football now?
Well, I'm going to go with no. Now, this next rule, I actually like this one. This next rule is very good. When scrums are packed for errors, only players designated as forwards pre-match will be able to pack in them. I love that rule.
I don't mind that. Yeah,
I love it. I think it's wonderful. I'm
That's
sick
sort
of
of-
seeing props out in the attacking
That's
one-off hit up. Oh, it's ludicrous.
the second rule, sorry, it seems like they're trying to get rid of the scrums, and the third's trying to define a scrum. Maybe they should just make a decision around that. Do they like them? Are they trying to work them out of the game? If
Well,
they're
I
trying to
know
work
the
them out of
Super League got rid of them, but no one gives a shit about the Super League. So
No.
I don't know if it's been good.
Who won?
I don't know if it's been
Bradford Bulls again?
Workington Warriors.
Huh?
Has it got a town? It's called Workington.
Leeds Rhinos? It's all those shit towns.
Essex
I got a
Eels.
question about that rule though.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to be named as a forward at the start, right? What
Yep.
about if you're on the bench and you're a forward?
Also, they have to be nominated if they are on the bench as a forward.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, what if there's an absurd amount of injuries in your team, and by we're at the 75th minute, you have to pack a scrum, and you literally don't have enough predetermined forwards.
Now,
to
I was
pack the
thinking
scrum.
about that. Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it could happen. Very feasibly could happen. But I think with the benches that most coaches go for, which is your 3-in-1 split, obviously.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it would happen often, but Josh, you're right. That's very good food for thought, Joshua, and We'll get Peter on the phone.
Someone
and we'll
like-
clarify that for you, Jess. We'll have that clarification for you next week.
Someone like Kurt Mann coming on, and he would have been nominated as a forward, probably coming on as a hooker, but they go, actually, injury in the centres. You've got to go
You've
as
got
a
to go
centre.
out.
So maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
It's
Who
great.
knows?
That's why we have
Again,
to trial them.
Silly
That's why we
rules.
have to trial them.
Now, this is the silliest one, and we've saved it till last. If a referee does happen to award a try, the bunker will review the play while the goal kick is being set up. They can still refer to the bunker if they do not believe a try has been scored. Now, Nagy,
Peter V'landys has done everything to prove himself not to be a dumb man.
and yet here we have
A very dumb rule.
a very dumb rule.
No.
Now, he's not on the commission. I can't imagine he makes the rules. He's not the one making the rules, but
the
he must
chairman.
sign off on them.
He's the chair. Apparently, I'd never known the chairman to do anything, but apparently he has immense control over the game.
Yeah.
You know, Slippery Pete himself, bomb under the desk. He gets anything he wants through, but he's entertaining the idea of this rule. So we'll run through a scenario with you. Your team scores a try. They're setting up for a conversion. Your team's walking back. It's awarded on the field. The points go up on the board. Then the video ref has a little gander and says, actually, no. I've decided that's not a try. They take the points away.
While the team is already lining up the kick, the other team is behind the goalpost. You can't celebrate your try because, you do celebrate.
Well, you do, and
It might be taken away from you.
But then nothing in the game's sacred anymore. If the points are on the board, they can be removed.
Yeah.
Who's to say after the game, our full timers, so it's 24 points to 30. Actually, no, we're going to remove some of those points because we have the power to do whatever we like. But
it's ludicrous and arbitrary, and I don't like it.
the counter is once the conversion's kicked, they can't remove them. So let's just say if you've scored that important 4 points, what's the point of just putting it on a tee and giving it a boot? Who cares if it goes anywhere near the posts?
As far as I know, you can actually take a drop goal attempt at a kick at goal, and you do what Matt Giddo used to do, where they'd score the try, run back about 10 metres out,
And just have a
hop
go.
it over, and then get back to your goddamn line.
That shit would be like, oh, hang on, we're seeing on the big screen that's not actually a try. We'll remove those points. Oh, wait, they've had a bloody go at conversion. They're now sacred. We can't remove them. They've been etched into history. Stupid rule for the world's greatest game. I can't understand it.
Speaking of stupid, Bryce Cartwright retired or has left the Titans.
Well, that's effectively the same thing, Liam, isn't it?
Well, that's got to be the end of that man's rugby league career.
We wish you the very worst in the rest of your career as a travelling salesman / real estate agent.
I'm a travelling salesman.
Oh, well. You're also a former rugby union player, Liam.
Yeah, fair call. And another great segue, speaking of stupid people, I think we've got an image that we'd like to bring up on the screen of a dear friend of the show, James Hooper, when he had hair. Now, who does that look like to you, Nagy?
Is it Bill Paxton?
Doesn't matter. Pullman, Paxton, they're all the same. Greg Kinnear, Gary Sinise, they're the same person, the same four actors. Now, what I don't like about this image is that the top was cropped out.
You don't see how and where the hair...
Well, that's. I'm thinking that's a tactical decision by Hooper to just cut the top of the noggin off, so we don't see the old slice of Devon.
Well, you know,
on the top there.
he's got a lot. You know, as I said, he really leads the way in the boys rugby league journalism, which Fox Sports seems to be promoting.
Yes.
In the fact that we don't actually talk about the game, but we talk about the backroom
being
politics.
palookas.
Yeah, palookas and nine balls, and the boys. Oh, I've had a chat to the coach.
Look,
I think if Cameron Smith doesn't make a decision about his career, that he's really letting everyone down. No, he's not, James Hooper. Let the man make a decision.
And then you go across the table, Kenty, and you've got Buzzy Hoops.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, that's doing terrible things to my scoliosis.
Buzz under the glasses.
Kenty. All right, that's enough speaking. God, we've dedicated a fair chunk of this podcast to people we think are dickheads.
Rubbishing.
And there's more to come on that front, Jousters, speaking of dickheads.
Little quickly, there's Ben Ikin's probably going to be gone from NRL 360, a show that I used
Looks
to enjoy.
like a lesbian.
He does. Maybe he is. But he's got to be leaving the show. And then so it leaves that sort of host position. What happened to Warren Smith? Why isn't he given a good run there? I think he would make a fantastic host.
He'd be a brilliant host.
Level-headed,
in fact, he
but
used to
he's
have a podcast with Brenton Speed called Take Me Now, I've Seen It All. Fantastic podcast. He's one of the best commentators, Warren Smith. One of the very best.
And he commentated
But he's been getting shit games.
Yeah. He gets the Fox Sports game when it's also on Channel 9. That's he's obviously...
I've seen him getting like the 2 o'clock Saturday game, or 3 o'clock Saturday game.
He's upset someone to Fox Sports.
Yeah.
But,
then you get morons on the primetime game like Braith and Nasta.
If you Wikipedia Warren Smith, it says that he coined the phrase in NRL commentating saying, and they're gonna say, like, so you go, they'll be like, and he goes over a try, and they're gonna say it's Ford. Like,
That's a very specific thing to introduce into rugby league, and yeah, they're
there
going
it
to
is.
say it.
And they're going to say, and then they're going to say the pass was Ford. I almost took that quote verbatim.
Wow, that's very interesting, and I didn't know that about Mr. Smith, but love his work, love everything he does. Put him on the show,
Get him
if
on.
only to tell James Hooper to shut up every week. Every week. But we have to go backwards as opposed to going forwards and discuss last week's game, Nagy versus the Dragons. What did you take out of the game?
I was frightened, Liam. I was frightened when
Terrified.
a graphic came up, and I forgot how, because obviously we had the win over them in Mudgee.
Yep.
And then I forgot how there seems to be, one out of the previous 7 games that we'd won, and the rest of them were all Dragons. And I thought to myself, shoot, they do have a pretty good record over us, don't they? Yeah. And I was like, is this going to happen
Thanks,
again?
Oscar Gallia.
Is this going to be the classic? But what really calmed my nerves was seeing our very own Crandall. I've been calling him Crandall. Chris Randall bursting through the line, not known for his running game. If anything, I said I've said to him he has a very bread and butter.
Classic bread and butter hooker.
Good
service.
But instead, he's sprinkled
Good defence.
a couple of 100,000 on there and turned his bread and butter into fairy bread.
Like what you do when you have a cup of noodles.
Yeah.
So you want to take some noodles off. So take noodles off the top, have your cup of noodles, and then you re-add the dry ones.
Sure.
And it's like a little crispy garnish inside.
Okay, like sprinkle on.
Yeah, sprinkle them on the top, and then you get crispy noodles in amongst your wet, moist noodles. Very good idea.
Interesting. We're not promoting doing that because they might.
I am.
Okay. All right. Make sure.
Did you not used to eat raw noodles as a kid?
Sometimes.
Huh. We used to do that. You get the Maggi ones, you break it up, you add the flavour sachet, give it a shake, and then
eat them like a
Mum
sandwich.
used to tell them they'd swell up in my belly, but I don't think that ever happened.
Oh, maybe it did.
I should have been dead with hypertension by 14. But moving up, hats off, Scoots.
Hats off, I can't go past Crandall. He
He's
just
great.
impressed me so much because there was also a nice pass to Daniel Saifidi.
Yes.
That led to a try as well. And so it's 2 try assists. I think he ran for 70-odd metres, mainly from that main
Which
break.
is good again, mostly that break. That makes up quite a chunk of it.
But what he did, he ran when it was necessary early in the game.
Lots of other hookers wouldn't have made that break.
No. And
Ours did.
we've seen now from him 71 tackles in that first game that he played against Penrith. And then we saw him do something with his attack a little bit more vibrant.
Yep.
The fairy bread sort of style of the game, which he's worked into the bread and butter. But now I'm a little bit worried because he is our 4th choice hooker.
Yes, he is indeed.
Right for the poaching, I think, which, if I was another club and I was sifting around for a hooker, I think this guy's got a bit of. I like the cut of his jib.
It's a good jib.
Yeah.
It's a good jib. It's well cut, but
Yeah.
could always be cut better.
So-
I have got for hats off. I've done something unprecedented.
Oh.
I don't think we've ever done on this show before.
The referee?
We're sharing the hats off. Yeah, we've done that before.
We probably done
We
that
have done that before. We're doing it again.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to give my hats off to both Safidis. They were both fantastic. And they both scored tries. It was great to see because, when a prop scores, you celebrate anyway.
Yeah.
But when a prop scores and then his twin prop also scores,
Yeah.
it may as well. They're going to rename that day Safidi Day.
If they can share a womb, they can share a hats off, I say. I've always said that.
I've been saying that for years, Nagy. We've very much said that on this show. So both boys scoring tries, albeit 2 of the. I don't know how to put this.
Oh, soft. That was
Soft is an understatement. 2 of the worst tries
Yeah.
I've ever seen a team concede on their own line.
When
Not to detract from the greatness of the Safidi.
This is how I describe the Dragons' defence.
Shit?
You're at the shopping centre. It's shit. But you're at the shopping centre and then you're going down the cleaning aisle.
And you buy a large bag of shit.
And then there's always like this tube of fabric softener that they have. They have the tubes.
Oh, yes.
And then
tubes of softener.
In your mind, you just go, touch it, pick it up, touch it. Just feel it. And it's so soft. It's filled with like this sort of thick liquid, but you sort of just let it, and then you put it back down because you never buy it because you want to buy fabric softener in a tube. That's the Dragons' defence.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Tube of fabric softener with the little duck on there or something
Yeah,
like that. We've all touched them.
Cold Power. We forgot to announce Cold Power's new sponsor of the show. So Cold Power fabric softener in a tube. Go out and get some.
Shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, groundbreaking evidence here at the Joust. Fluffy summer breeze.
Who would have thought that Josh actually washes our apparel each week in the fluffy summer breeze?
That's it. Josh is the jersey's mum. He cleans up after us. He peels the oranges.
It's incredible.
Cleans the jersey.
Feel how soft that is.
Oh, and that's not even the fabric softener.
Oh,
that's the bag it's in is so soft. Imagine how soft the clothes would be. Fluffy. Smells like cashmere.
Send the check, Fluffy. Send the check.
But both ran out. Well, forget about it. Savides were great.
Yeah.
KP was great. And Nari Tuala, again, proving to be a very, very astute purchase.
tries.
We're seeing a lot of why Coach loves him so much.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, look, there was plenty of hats off to go around. But my concern, now I know obviously coming into the finals, you want to beat up on some teams. You want to get some good confidence building wins. But I'm not sure if this result was because of the Knights playing particularly well, as much as it was the Dragons playing unfathomably badly.
Shit, yeah. They were very bad, as we talked about. They have the fluffy tube defence, but also they're unforced errors.
Oh,
their errors just
God.
in the tackle. I think it was 14 errors, which is not obscene. We've seen teams make 14 errors and win games, but the errors just for no reason.
Yeah.
They weren't contesting a ball or anything. They just needed to hold the ball.
They just dropped it.
Dropped it cold. So we got a lot of opportunity, and we seem to make most of a lot of that opportunity. But you're right, Liam. We weren't up against a finals S side.
No.
But I think next week against the Titans, Liam, I think that is the finals caliber side in the kind of form that they're in.
Titans will put up a much, much stronger fight.
Now-
A much stronger fight. Let's move forward.
No, not backwards.
Forwards.
Not backwards.
Twirling.
Dwelling. Always twirling.
Into next week, who have we got?
We got the Titans, but we got the
The
Titans.
very same Titans we were just talking about.
And also we've moved back to the graveyard shift, 6 o'clock on the Friday nights.
Have we missed it? I don't know.
Look, we haven't played well really outside of marathon this year. It's just basically been we won games at home and I think maybe one other time. But then so we shouldn't necessarily be excited about playing away. So the time slot really we haven't travelled well.
We haven't. No.
But look, it's at least if we lose and we're disappointed, one, it doesn't affect the ladder position, but also you got a whole other game of football to watch and your weekend isn't ruined. So just think about that. Just put that into consideration. But there's some big names coming back.
I was
Liam.
about to say big ins coming back. Let's start with Eddie. Takes his spot on the left wing.
Huge man.
Stafford will be out. Heimel Hunt will go back to the wing. Mann back into 8. Randall back to the bench. The Druff has come back on. The Druff's back. And who else is back, Nagy?
That's right, it's the thumb.
The thumb is back. Bradman, the best, is back. And ladies and gentlemen, holy shit, how good is this?
And if we can welcome any player back, and I think we've forgotten not only how good he was in the early rounds, but how good he and Edric were together.
A fantastic combination. I'm going to call them Bradrick.
Bradrick, and it was.
I can't believe we didn't come up with that
I
earlier.
think Matty Storr came and said, I think that we should call him Bradrick.
Yeah, Matty may well have said that. Thank you, Matty. I just stole that. That's mine
That's
now.
right. That's what we do. But welcoming them both back. It seems that Edric Lee works in a different time zone. He can react quicker. He can run faster. He can do things better. And Bradman Best works much more close to the ground, but stronger. He's got
Power.
this strength from I don't know what maybe from the wheat pixie.
From being built out of granite, I would
granite.
say.
Yeah, sandstone.
I would say. Sandstone.
Any sort of hard
right
material.
out of the side of Strzelecki.
What he's not made out of is fluffy. Summertime.
Summer breeze, sorry, Nagy. Summer breeze.
Sorry. Fluffy.
For all your summer breeze needs.
For all your defensive woes and nasty stains. Summer breeze. Send the check.
Send the check. There's a few to watch out for here in this Titans lineup. Moeaki Fotuaika, front rower, young gun. He's a tyro. He'll play rep footy.
Yeah.
Not too long into the future.
Yeah.
You've got Jamal Fogarty.
Yes.
He was a late debutant. He only came into the NRL at 28. And he has found some serious form. He's playing great, leading the team. He was captain while Proctor was suspended. He's letting Ash Taylor play his best footy as well. He's taken on the majority of the organising and the steering the team around. And Ash Taylor's now free to play his game the way that he should be playing. And he's playing a lot better now than he has over the last couple of seasons.
Who's the Anthony Don? Is that
The Don?
The Don. He looks like
the ham man.
Look, I've got a bit of a soft spot for him because he looks like he just stumbled into training
In
one
off the
day,
beach.
and they went, come, you can have a run. He's the everyman, you know. He doesn't really look.
Well, I signed
like,
him from the South Grafton Ghosts.
and he still looks like he should be there.
I've
I
been
don't know.
Group 2
He's
up
just
there.
he's just got a 1-year extension as well, and to be playing with again. But he's actually born in the '80s, and you don't see that very often.
Oh wow, he's one of the very few rugby league players older than us.
Yes,
He's 30.
He's 30. He's 30. Yeah, he's much
Was that
older. No, he's 30.
2020 minus 1987 to 30?
32.
No, he's 30.
Okay, 30. Because all players are 30.
He's not
The
22,
No,
and he's not Alex Johnson. So he's
true.
30.
He's 30.
And that's all we'll hear about it. But yeah, look, they're playing some very good footy. Lots to worry about. when
Mitch
it comes to
Rain
the Titans.
probably out, but Nathan Peets might come in.
Former Origin.
Former, very former.
Very
Can we-
Very former.
He's played
Origin.
only 8 games for the Titans this year. Is Origin worth mentioning anymore?
Yes,
In his-
always love mentioning Laurie
He didn't
Daly's
have
very
a-
strange Origin decision.
Because he made like 50 tackles. He had a
Well,
good...
what you got to remember about Nathan Peets being picked at hooker in Origin was that I believe it was around the time when Benji was Robbie Farah was locked for that number 9 jersey.
Yeah.
But Robbie's ball playing and the way Robbie Farah played didn't work too well with Pearce because he took away a lot of attacking opportunities.
Yes.
And so I remember they picked Nathan Peets and they said, "We're picking Nathan because this is Mitchell Pearce's team.
Right.
All he needs is good service and a hooker who can tackle." So they picked Nathan Peets for that very role, and
Wasn't chosen again after that series.
and we did not win the series. But also, a bit of a revenge game for Newcastle Knights junior Samuel Stone, son of Uncle Rick, of course. He will be playing in the second row, and
That's about it, I think.
Proctor comes back. He's pretty good.
Lachlan Fitzgibbon not playing.
Oh, no, Lockie Fitz. Tyrone Peachy at lock as well, one to worry about. He's actually been in good form.
I know. He's come back
Weird.
into a starting
This
side.
Justin Holbrook's a super coach.
Former Knight.
That's
how
course.
you get
Yeah,
it. That's
absolutely.
how you get it. It's you know, there's hopefully what we can do is play a side that's in form.
Yes.
And work our way into preparing ourselves for a finals thing. I really hope the Titans come out and give it their all, and I'm sure they will. They're chasing 5 wins in a row. They'll finish the comp unsuccessful, make the finals, but they'll probably finish 9th.
They'll be the best Queensland team.
Just tickling.
Tickling the what, Nagy?
They'll be asking the finals to cough while just tickling the underside of 8th position.
Doing it to the gonads.
But that's also this question might come up again to say Titans are playing really well, Sharks are playing dog shit. Why wouldn't you try to offer something? Try to be like, there's a wild card spot.
Let's not get started on wild card spots going into the finals. That will prove to be a debacle.
Yes.
A debacle. But yeah, I'm tipping Knights to win by 100 points.
100.
100 points.
I'll slightly undercut you there, and I'll say we'll get the win by 10 points, 26-16.
Stupid idea. Stupid idea. What do we got next? Good.
Is it the sack?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is that, do we usually do something else? What do
I
we
couldn't
miss?
remember.
Oh, God. Yep, sack. We haven't missed anything. Let's go, sack.
Time to open your sack, Liam.
Now, first question. Adam Clements. Adam asks, is Tarek going to go around to Adam's friend's place in Central Street at Lambton and pick up the training bra and training shirt Corbin left under the washing machine before he left the Knights? It's starting to smell, and Adam has video evidence that can be provided if necessary. Now,
I like Adam. I like the cut of his jib. I don't know if you met him the other week.
Very good jib. I did, yes. Met Adam the other week, and good to meet you. Always good to meet Jousters.
Love him.
And
what do you wish to do with the training bra?
Now, I would say that depending whose laundry you found it in, that is a very, very good option for blackmail.
Yes.
Because look, obviously Corbin Sims, he's not on $1 million a year contract, but he's still a rugby league player, earning, maybe $250,000. Some money.
Tens of dollars.
More than us. I would wager a bet.
I don't know.
So I would say to you, Adam.
I don't know. We could supersede him with a bit of that sweet, fluffy summer breeze for all those tough stains of your sport bra when you've left them at someone's house for many, many years. How are you going to get those stank out?
With
Fluffy. Summer breeze. Send the check. Okay.
Now it's funny you mentioned that, Adam Clements, because a good friend of my sister had a similar run-ins. That probably not the right word because it was sex.
Yes.
So similar with Corbin. Similar to Corbett
This is your
Sims.
sister's friend. I'm going to say not your actual sister. No,
I would never say that about my good Christian sister. No, sir. So it sounds like the Sims boys have a bit of a reputation for being Lotharios around town.
Maybe taking the kid off at other people's homes.
Absolutely. But again, we've all done that before.
Hey, look, I think
Let he who does not live in a glass house throw the first stone at the house made of glass. As that great saying goes.
Yeah, at the other bloke that leaves his kid around as well.
Next statement is from Josh Spiegelman. Josh just let us know it was just Jewish New Year. We missed it. So technically, we are 1-0 in the new year. # undefeated.
Of course, that's from the great, notorious fourth jester, Josh Spiegelman, the Hebrew Hammer. And of course, he's got his one eye peering on the Jewish New Year. I didn't know they had a different calendar.
Apparently so, and a different New Year, but all New Years are to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And it's great that the Knights can celebrate the Jewish New Year by going undefeated since then.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable. It's quite something.
What year are we in the Chinese year? The Chinese calendar?
Who the hell
goat?
knows?
Is the year of the goat? We can find that out on the internet.
We can find that out on the internet. We'll move on, but we'll come back to that. Jamie Sheehan asks, do you think there is any chance of moving Mann back to the 6 and keeping Randall 9, given that Lino has been found out a few times in defence?
I think it's a year of the rat.
Year of the rat.
Year of the rat.
No wonder I'm having such a good year.
Now, speaking of Mason Lino, something I didn't comment on during the game, I did think he got found out a little bit in attack. Not defence, but in attack. He got stifled a little bit by the centre of the wing coming in and closing
Rushing
him off.
up defence.
Now, the reason for this is...
Umbrellas.
I don't believe he's a 5'8" in the modern game. I think he's a halfback. I don't think he should be out there on the edges against the big running centres and whatnot. They're too big. They're big boys.
The big fellas.
Mason Lino's only a small boy. Dickie Knee. He
Dickie Knee's
pops
tiny
up
boy.
around. Yeah,
Got his little blue hat.
Got his little hat. Whoosh. Got to whip him away. But in the same sense that I think having Kurt Mann on and then showing that Crandall can play 60 minutes, I think you have that option there. And
Absolutely,
I think
it's good to have options.
so you can always swap him out and you move him back to 6 if something was to happen to one of the halves.
Yeah, God forbid. God forbid.
God forbid.
Sorry, Josh, Yahweh forbid.
Yeah.
Yahweh forbid that happens. But I'd love to see Kurt back in the 6. I don't know if it is what suits the
He's
team
there
best
as
for
cover.
now.
He's there
as cover.
We've got 2 hookers on the field and
But
one of them can play.
he was fantastic when he was at 6.
Yeah, it was
Very,
very good.
very good.
Very good, but more of a run. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of a Cameron McInnes shift and see him at 13.
Oh, yeah, Kurt Mann at 13.
And then you roll a forward on. I don't know if that's
Also,
possible.
is Kurt Mann a lock for Queensland Origin this year?
Like
don't
a physical,
really have
like
anyone
a,
else.
like a 13 lock or like.
Oh, no, I just meant a lock to be in the team.
I think you'd put him at 14.
Yeah,
I think you'd
he'd be great 14 for Queensland.
He covers
Very,
a lot of
very good.
positions.
Next question comes from Daniel Turner. Daniel asks, what did the Dragons put on their hands to make them unable to hold the ball?
Glad you asked that. I think it was fluffy summer breeze. Very slippery, but good for your clothes to soften them. Thanks for asking, Daniel.
And you know what? You put it on your boots. It's good for kicking.
Good for kicking. Available
it's
at all.
It softens the boots and allows the boot to absorb more impact. So
Department
fluffy
stores.
fabric softener, good for kicking.
Kicking, slipping, anything you
Sliding.
want. It's a multi-purpose.
Softening
Clothes does that as well.
Yeah.
Sold in tubes.
What else did they do to suck ass? I don't know. They were just terrible.
The Dragons talk about.
Just
of course
truly
not.
terrible.
Fluffy summer breeze.
Now, next question from Dom Villiers. Dom asks, and I believe you've got an image here of Rusty, the mascot. Dom asks, is 2021 the year to bring back the GOAT of all mascots? And here we have him right there. Rusty, the Newcastle Knight. I would love to see him back. I love a mascot using a real animal because it leaves open such opportunities for accidents and muck-ups and things going horribly, horribly wrong.
The trot's been the trot.
It's right there. The stables are there.
Stables are there.
The horse trainers are there. They could even,
I like how he's also carrying a weapon. Could be a jousting stick. I don't know. I don't know.
It's called a lance.
But also something that always bothered me about this person, I know the function of him being a mascot and just sort of running around, but the fact that he had no plate armor on his pants and they were just silver pants. Always bothered.
Also, what's this red skirt? Yeah. Look, now, okay, so...
Maybe they're crotchless. Have we thought about that?
Well, I have thought about that quite a bit because, Dom, I'm really glad you brought this up because obviously the club have consulted with us on how to give Rusty a refresh. It's 2020. times are different. Things have changed. We need to take our favourite mascot, Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty.
But we need to modernise him
Yeah.
to suit the current climate of the way people are. The way people are living, the
Yep.
way people enjoy their lives.
Sure.
But so obviously the club have consulted with us.
Oh, yeah, they went-
We didn't want to reveal any details, but backless chaps. They were one of the
Backless chaps.
They were one of the first things on the agenda.
Arseless chaps as well, yeah.
Arseless chaps.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
But
yeah,
there was
yeah.
a few other ideas. One of them being, what if we replaced the horse with a monster truck?
Yep. Yeah.
That was
yeah.
mine.
Yeah,
Nagy didn't. Nagy took some winning over on that one. But
did,
the best one that I really liked came from you, Nagy. Can you tell us what that idea was?
Well, you see, we've got the arseless chaps, and then we've got the monster truck. But what's happening up here? All right, the helmet
Well, I was
covers.
going to say your classic helmet.
No.
Knight's helmet covers the face.
Can't be
You
covering
want
the
Rusty
face.
to be seen.
Not only opening, so you've opened the back, but opened the front as well. So the mystery is no longer that we can welcome him into the community.
Yeah.
Open helmet, and then open pastures at the back as well. That's the two opens.
But say what you will about the two opens. It is good to see that Rusty will be COVID compliant wearing his mask.
Wearing his mask.
Do you remember
wearing
there
some-
used to be two though? There was one on the horse, and then there
One
was
on the quad bike.
Rusty was the other one.
Oh,
and he was
Rusty was the
also
other
he was a
one.
clown. His name was Willie Dewdrop, and he performed at my 8th birthday party. So I reckon
was he
dead
wearing-
set there would be a lot of Novocastrians who had Willie Dewdrop at their party at some point.
Do drop. We'll get
Wearing
it.
a pink shirt with a top hat, always juggling knives and stuff.
Really?
Fantastic.
We should get him on the show.
Too good for Super Hubert, or
Probably didn't have enough money for that. I reckon Super Hubert would charge a fortune.
I've always said Willie Dewdrop was the poor man's Super Hubert.
Because he was on the little quad bike, wasn't he?
Doesn't exist. I can't remember.
Who
Can't
knows?
remember.
Who knows? Next question.
Final question.
Final question. Yeah. Now, this is a good one from Matt Stork. Now, obviously, Nagy and I, we love Origin with all our damn hearts. We've cried, we've laughed, we've punched on, we've done drugs. We've basically, if you name a thing, we've done it during Origin time. If you name a terrible thing,
We've done what?
we've done it during Origin time. Now, Matt Stork asks, he understands these days, more so than ever, the game is a business. And he knows every player may vary overall in terms of what they're thinking. But what do you think these days is driving players to be selected for Origin?
yeah.
Is it the extra money and increased market value of their brand, or the pride to play for your state at the game's highest level? Obviously, both are valid reasons, and I agree with Storky on that last point. They are both valid reasons. But to me, it seems like Origin still has the aura.
Yeah.
Origin is still the pinnacle of the rugby league game, which leads to a lot of people, not particularly born and bred in the Origin states, really want to be a part of it because it is the pinnacle of the game.
It is.
It does help also that you get paid $30,000
Plus,
for each game.
plus also a lot of contracts now incorporate if you make Origin.
They do. I believe
will-
they're called KPIs.
KPIs.
That's what we used to call it when I worked man to man in the Hunter Street Mall.
Yeah.
Wonderful quality clothing. I think
Yeah.
that jacket you got lasted about 10
That's
years.
the first time I met you. I bought a jacket off you.
You bought a jacket off me, and
Still-
the
still-
rest was history.
And meanwheile, the jacket burst into a million threads.
Oh, it was
made in
very, very poorly made.
Sri Lanka, I believe.
No, Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Yeah,
Oh.
not the Bangladeshi government's finest work. So we're looking here at the Ship of Fools
Oh, here we go.
website. Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. Who's the... That's him?
That's him.
Ah, terrifying.
Right. It really is.
Nice basketball.
Oh, it's
Looks like
mascot.
that mustache is put on with black shoe polish.
Yeah, maybe it was. Hope it's shoe polish. I still think they're playing for the pride of the jersey, Liam. I think it's our last bastion of pride in the
Yeah,
game.
no, I've got to agree
is-
with you. Obviously, there will be players that would definitely do it just for the money. But I think there's enough prestige around Origin and there's enough mythos around Origin. And it's so important that I think there are still a lot of players who very, very genuinely just want to play because it's Origin.
The greatest game of all.
The
and
greatest game of all.
the greatest platform of all, and the thing that we want the most. And
Yes.
we're going to win it 3 times in a row, 3-0 Blues, because we don't count anything that happened before that.
Yes.
Liam,
no,
before we go to the
absolutely
show,
not.
you promised a special announcement, and it's time for a special announcement, and I'll let you take it.
I did promise a special announcement, Jousters. Now, as some of you may well know, and others of you might not know, that my wife returned back to Canada to visit her family about this time last year, actually. I think it was right around this time.
It was around this time, yeah.
And due to some serious health issues and then the ongoing threat of COVID and what else was there that we had? The visa issues and financial issues
Everything.
surrounding marrying an immigrant. It's very hard. Wouldn't recommend it, but no, love it a bit. But due to the length of our separation, how long we've been apart, we've made the decision that I will be moving to Canada within the next few weeks. And I just really wanted to get this across that jousting has been one of the funnest things I've ever experienced in my life. I have a really great time doing this. And a large part of it, Jousters, is because of you guys. You make it so much fun to talk footy. And, you know, if you told me 4 years ago that I would be able to sit here, talk shit with some of my best mates and, you know, have people listen to me talking about footy, I would have punched you in the face and said, you're an idiot, get out of town, go away, or I'll get Dad to punch you in the face as well. So it's something that I've really, really enjoyed. And again, Jousters, you've been such a huge part of it. And I'll be wrapping up after next week's episode, so please tune in for that one. And yeah, hopefully, you know, there'll be more down the track. But at this point in these uncertain times, I couldn't promise any set time on when we can be back. So again, Jousters, I appreciate everything that you've done for us in the show over the last couple of years. How long?
It's our fourth year. Fourth year.
So yeah, hope you know. I yearn to joust again. I really, really look forward to jousting again with you, fans. But for now, I'm going to say good night, goodbye, and I'll see you next week. And again, absolute pleasure. It's been a joy.
Please tune in next week for it'll be the final show with Liam, and also we'll be going as far as this season is concerned. But the Joust, as you know it, as we've been bringing it to you each week, it will be the end of this show as well after this season, because God forbid I'm not doing it without my other half of my brain. Liam,
well, there's not many other half-brained people around.
No, that's right. I'll just, you know, trying to do it with anyone else wouldn't feel right. It would be like, you know, seeing your other half being stood by the neighbour or something like that. It just wouldn't feel right. Liam, we have to end the show because we can both go off and cry together.
I held it in, but shan't for much longer.
No. But it's bubbling away. But please join us for the last episode with Liam McNeil next week, and also potentially be the second last episode of the season. Just as we all love you. Thank you for tuning in each week, and we'll see you again for possibly the final time next week. Thank you very much.